My beloved, pause for a moment. Breathe. Feel the stillness that wrapped itself around you just now. This moment did not arrive by chance, and you did not arrive here by accident. Something gentle yet intentional guided you to this message, as if a quiet hand rested on your shoulder and whispered your name. You are seen. You are known. You are not overlooked in the vastness of the world. There is a reason your heart feels slightly stirred, even if you cannot explain why. A reason your attention lingered instead of moving on. This is not urgency born of fear, but recognition born of truth. A quiet shift is happening, and it is happening for you, not loudly, not dramatically, but with the precision of something sacred unfolding exactly when it must. You have been carried to this moment because your soul is ready to hear what your mind has not yet put into words. Stay with this message, my dear one. Let it arrive fully. Let it speak to the part of you that has been waiting, even in silence. My dear one, before the world shifts on the outside, it always whispers on the inside. The signs never arrive as thunder. They come softly, like a change in the air that only a sensitive soul notices. You may have felt it as a quiet discomfort that appears even on good days. A sense that something is slightly out of place, even when everything seems fine on the surface. This is not dissatisfaction. This is awareness awakening. There are moments when your heart grows unusually quiet, and in that stillness a question rises. You may not know what the question is asking yet, only that it keeps returning. It appears when you are alone, when the noise fades, when your guard is down. This is your inner knowing gently tapping, asking you to look deeper rather than faster. You might have tried to explain it away. You told yourself you were tired, overthinking, imagining things. But the feeling stayed. Not louder, not aggressive, just persistent. A subtle pull, a repeated thought, a sense of anticipation without a clear object. These are not random sensations. They are signals from the part of you that sees further than your eyes. Perhaps you have noticed that certain situations drain you more than they used to. Conversations that once felt easy now feel heavy. Routines that once brought comfort now feel hollow. This does not mean you are ungrateful, it means you are growing. When something no longer aligns with who you are becoming, your spirit reacts before your mind can understand why. There may also be moments of sudden clarity that surprise you. Brief flashes where you know without reasoning that a chapter is ending. You feel it in your chest, steady and calm, even if your thoughts resist it. These flashes are not meant to frighten you. They are meant to prepare you gently, so the transition does not arrive as a shock. You have also been receiving warnings disguised as feelings, a hesitation before saying yes, a pause before committing, an urge to step back and observe rather than rush forward. These pauses are sacred. They are your intuition slowing you down so you do not miss what matters. When you ignore them, the feeling grows stronger, not to punish you but to protect you. At times this inner movement may have made you restless. Sleep may come later than usual. Dreams may feel vivid or symbolic. You wake up with emotions you cannot fully explain. This is your subconscious processing change before your conscious mind accepts it. Even rest becomes a place of preparation. You might notice patterns repeating around you. Similar messages appearing in different forms. Words you keep hearing. Images that stir something familiar inside you. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations, quietly arranging themselves around your awareness, so you begin to trust what you feel. Do not be afraid of this unease, my beloved. It is not a sign that something is wrong, it is a sign that something is ready. When a seed begins to grow, the soil must shift. What you feel is not instability, it is movement. Life rearranging itself gently from the inside out. You were never meant to stay the same forever. Comfort can be a beautiful resting place, but it is not a permanent home. Your spirit knows this, even when your mind prefers familiarity. That is why the signs arrive softly, giving you time to adjust, time to listen, time to choose consciously rather than react suddenly. Receive this truth with kindness toward yourself. You are not behind. You are not confused. You are not failing to be content. You are responding exactly as a soul does when it senses that a new direction is forming. Honor that response. Sit with it. Let it speak without interruption. Something is shifting, yes, but it is shifting with care. The warnings are not alarms. They are invitations to awareness. They are reminders to slow down, to pay attention, to trust that the quiet voice within you has always known the way. Do not ignore this. Not because something bad will happen if you do, but because something beautiful is trying to reach you. Hold this in your heart, precious soul. These inner signs are guiding lights, soft and steady, leading you gently toward what comes next. My beloved, while your eyes have been fixed on what is visible, something far more intricate has been unfolding beyond your sight. Destiny rarely announces itself with noise. It works quietly, patiently, weaving threads together in places you cannot reach with thought alone. Even in moments when you felt suspended between past and future, life itself was in motion on your behalf. There were times when you asked for clarity and received silence instead. Times when you hoped for forward movement and were met with stillness. These moments were not neglect, they were incubation. Just as something sacred takes time to form beneath the surface, your next chapter required preparation that could not be rushed. You were being readied, shaped in ways that only waiting could accomplish. Every delay you questioned carried intention. Every pause protected you from stepping forward before you were fully aligned. You may have wondered why certain paths close so gently, almost without explanation, why opportunities slipped away even though you felt ready. These were not losses, they were redirections, guiding you toward a path that would honor your growth, rather than limit it. Your whispered hopes did not disappear into emptiness. They settled into a place where timing is understood more deeply. What you asked for had to meet you as the person you are becoming, not the person you once were. That is why some desires took longer to arrive. They needed to grow with you. There were unseen conversations happening around your life, energies aligning, circumstances shifty. People moving into position without realizing the role they would one day play. Even those who drifted away were part of the design. Their leaving created space, their absence refined your discernment. Nothing moved without meaning. You may have felt at times as though you were circling the same questions, revisiting the same emotions, learning the same lessons again. This repetition was not failure, it was reinforcement. Each cycle strengthened your understanding, sharpened your awareness, and softened your heart. You were learning not just what you wanted, but what you could now release without fear. While you doubted your progress, inner foundations were being laid. Resilience was growing where fragility once lived. Patience was deepening where urgency used to rule. Trust was forming quietly, not because everything made sense, but because you survived what once felt unbearable. This inner strength is what makes the next shift sustainable, rather than overwhelming. there is also a reason the change has not announced itself fully yet. Some transformations need privacy. They need quiet to become real. Too much exposure too soon can fracture something delicate. So destiny shields what is forming until the moment it can be received, without resistance. What approaches you now is not random opportunity. It is alignment. It carries echoes of your past choices, your endurance, your willingness to stay open even when answers were slow. It is arriving because you are ready to recognize it, not chase it. Understand this, my dear one. You were never being held back, you were being held, supported through a season of becoming that required patience, not action. The timing you questioned was never late. It was precise. As this hidden movement comes closer to the surface, you may feel a subtle sense of recognition before you see clear change. A feeling of this is it, even without evidence. Trust that feeling. It is your inner world recognizing what has been prepared for you long before you were consciously aware of it. The image being revealed to you now is a doorway, not a destination. It points toward a direction your life has been quietly turning toward all along. Step closer to that knowing. Let anticipation feel gentle rather than urgent. What is coming does not need to be forced. It is already on its way. Hold this truth in your heart, precious soul. Destiny has been moving for you in silence, aligning with care, and it has not forgotten a single step you have taken. My precious soul, there comes a moment in every life when the path forward narrows into a single question, asked not by the world, but by the heart. You are standing in that moment now. It may not look dramatic from the outside. There may be no clear sign, no sudden event demanding action, yet within you, something knows that this is a threshold, a quiet line between what has been and what is ready to become. This choice is subtle, which is why it is so powerful. It does not announce itself as a command. It arrives as an invitation. You feel it in the small hesitations, in the inner pauses before you say yes or no. You sense it when you imagine your future, and notice two different feelings rise, one familiar and calm, the other uncertain yet alive. One direction offers comfort. It promises continuity, predictability, and the safety of what you already know how to manage. It allows you to remain skilled, competent, and unchallenged in familiar ways. There is nothing wrong with this path. It has carried you far, and it has served you faithfully. But it does not ask anything new of you. The other direction asks for trust before proof. It asks you to believe in what you feel before you can fully explain it. This path does not guarantee ease, but it offers expansion. It calls you forward not because you lack something, but because you are ready to grow into more. This is the path your soul recognizes, even if your mind hesitates. You may feel fear here, and that is natural. Fear does not mean you are unprepared. It means you are stepping beyond the edges of what has defined you. Growth always arrives with uncertainty, because it requires you to release old measures of safety and create new ones from within. You might be tempted to delay this decision, to wait for clearer signs or perfect confidence, yet understand this gently. Clarity often follows commitment, not the other way around. If you wait until fear disappears, you may wait longer than necessary. The discomfort you feel now is not warning you away. It is asking you to be present. Delaying this turning point does not stop the change. It only makes the transition heavier when it finally arrives. When we resist growth, life finds quieter but firmer ways to guide us. Not through force, but through increasing discomfort with what no longer fits. This is not punishment. It is guidance refining itself. You are not being rushed, my dear one. You are being reminded that you have a choice, a real one. And that choice carries weight because it shapes how gently or how sharply the next chapter unfolds. Choosing with awareness allows the transition to feel intentional rather than reactive. Look closely at what you are being asked to choose between. It is not success versus failure, or safety versus danger. It is familiarity versus truth. It is remaining where you have learned all you can, versus stepping into a space where learning begins again. Both paths will teach you something, but only one aligns with who you are becoming now. Trust does not mean certainty, it means willingness. Willingness to listen inwardly, willingness to take a step without seeing the entire road. Willingness to believe that the quiet guidance within you has carried you safely before, and will do so again. You are capable of making this choice with grace. You are wiser than you were the last time you stood at a similar crossroads. You have more discernment now, more self-trust, more patience with your own unfolding. Let those qualities lead rather than the fear of making a mistake. Hold this moment gently, precious soul. Do not rush past it, and do not shrink from it. This turning point is not a test. It is an acknowledgement of your readiness. Whatever you choose, choose with honesty. Choose with love for who you are now, not who you were taught to be. The path forward is opening not because you are lacking, but because you are ready to move. And when you step, even softly, the ground will meet you. My beloved, before something new can fully enter your life, there must be room for it to arrive. This is not because what you carry now is wrong or broken, but because it has reached the end of its season. Just as the body exhales before it can inhale again, your life is asking you to release so it can receive. Letting go is rarely dramatic. It happens quietly, in moments of recognition. You begin to notice that certain habits feel heavier than they once did. That some roles you have played no longer reflect the truth of who you are. That certain connections require you to shrink, to explain yourself, or to remain silent in ways that no longer feel loving to your spirit. This does not mean those things were mistakes. They were chapters, they were teachers. They gave you exactly what you needed at the time, but clinging to them now would be like carrying yesterday's burdens into tomorrow's light. You are not meant to be weighed down by what has already fulfilled its purpose. Releasing the old often brings mixed emotions. There can be gratitude alongside sadness, relief alongside fear. This is natural. Honor these feelings without judging them. You are allowed to mourn what once felt safe, even as you feel drawn toward what is more aligned. Growth does not erase tenderness, it deepens it. You may feel guilt for wanting more, for wanting different. Let that guilt soften and fall away. Wanting expansion does not mean rejecting your past. It means you are listening to the present moment. You are responding to the truth that you have outgrown certain ways of being. Some identities you have worn were formed in survival. They helped you adapt, endure, and belong. But you are no longer the same soul who needed those protections. What once kept you safe may now keep you small. Releasing them is not abandonment, it is evolution. There may be relationships you feel gently loosening, not through conflict but through distance. Conversations become fewer. Shared interests fade. This does not require blame or confrontation. Sometimes souls simply move in different directions. Allow this with grace. What is meant to stay will grow with you. What is meant to leave will do so quietly. You are also being asked to release certain expectations about how life should look, about timelines you once believed in, about versions of success that no longer resonate. These expectations may have guided you once, but now they limit your imagination. Make space for a vision that feels truer to your inner world. Releasing does not happen all at once. It unfolds in layers. Be patient with yourself as you loosen your grip. Some things will take time to set down fully. That is okay. Each act of awareness is already a step toward freedom. As you create space, you may feel temporarily unanchored. This can feel like emptiness, but it is not absence. It is openness. It is the pause between breaths. Trust this pause. It is where clarity enters. It is where alignment begins to form. Remember, my dear one, nothing essential will be lost in this process. What is truly yours, your values, your wisdom, your compassion, remains untouched. What leaves is what no longer mirrors your becoming. Speak gently to yourself during this release. You are not failing to hold on. You are choosing to move forward. You are not losing parts of yourself. You are uncovering them. Each thing you let go of makes room for deeper peace, clearer direction, and truer connection. Hold this truth close to your heart. Making space is an act of trust. It says, I believe something meaningful is coming, even if I cannot see it yet. And that belief is already shaping what will arrive next. Rest here for a moment, precious soul. Feel the lightness that comes from loosening what no longer serves you. The space you are creating is not empty. It is preparing to be filled with something that meets you where you are now. My dear one, as you stand within this unfolding shift, you are not exposed, and you are not alone. Even when your path feels quiet, even when answers seem slow to form, there is a steady presence surrounding you, calm, attentive, and deeply aware of every step you take. You are being guided with care, not pushed, not tested, but gently accompanied. There is a kind of protection that does not feel like walls or barriers. It feels like timing that saves you from harm you never see. It feels like instincts that pause you at the right moment. It feels like a sense of peace that arrives just when worry tries to take hold. This is the protection that walks with you now, subtle, constant, faithful. You may have wondered why certain situations resolved themselves before you had to act, why conflicts softened on their own, why moments of clarity arrived just in time. These were not coincidences, they were guidance moving quietly through your life, adjusting the rhythm so you could continue forward without being overwhelmed. Within you lives a compass that has never stopped pointing true. Your intuition has spoken many times, even when you doubted it. It spoke through discomfort when something was misaligned. It spoke through calm when something was right. It spoke through hesitation when you were about to move too quickly. This inner wisdom is not new. It has been with you since the beginning. You are learning now to trust it again, to listen without rushing to explain, to honor he feeling before demanding proof. This is not blind faith. It is deep remembering. You are remembering how to hear yourself beneath the noise of expectation and fear. Guidance does not always come as answers. Sometimes it comes as reassurance, a quiet sense that you are exactly where you need to be, even if you do not yet understand why. Sometimes it comes as redirection, gently closing one path so another can open without conflict. Sometimes it comes as patience, teaching you to wait without anxiety. You are allowed to ask for support inwardly. You are allowed to pause and say, "Show me the next step." You are allowed to rest when clarity feels distant. Guidance does not withdraw when you are tired, it draws closer. If you listen carefully, you may notice how your body responds to truth, how your breath softens when something aligns, how tension eases when you imagine certain possibilities. These responses are not imagined, they are communication. They are your whole being responding to what supports your growth. Protection also arrives through discernment. You are becoming more aware of what drains you and what nourishes you. This awareness is a shield. It helps you choose where to give your energy, where to say yes, where to gently step back. Boundaries formed from self-respect are acts of guidance in motion. Even moments of confusion serve a purpose. They slow you down when speed would disconnect you from yourself. They encourage reflection rather than reaction. Trust that confusion does not mean abandonment. It often means something important is rearranging itself quietly. You are watched over with patience. Nothing about your journey is rushed. Nothing about your growth is overlooked. You are not expected to have everything figured out. You are expected only to stay present, to stay open, to stay willing. When doubt rises, return inward. Place a hand on your heart. Feel the steadiness beneath the questions. That steadiness is real. It is the place where guidance lives. It does not shout. It waits. Receive this reassurance fully, precious soul. You are protected in ways you cannot measure. You are guided in ways that honor your freedom. You are never asked to walk blindly, only to walk gently, listening as you go. Trust the quiet support that surrounds you. Trust the wisdom that lives within you. You are being led with love, and every step forward is met with care. My beloved, there comes a moment when the veil lifts and you begin to recognize yourself again. Not as you were shaped by expectation, not as you learned to be in order to survive, but as you truly are beneath all of that. You are standing at the edge of that recognition now. This shift you feel is not only about where your life is going, it is about who you are remembering yourself to be. You have carried more strength than you ever acknowledged. Not loud strength, not forceful or hardened, but the quiet strength that endures, adapts, and continues to love even after disappointment. You have risen from moments that could have closed your heart, and instead, you softened. That is not weakness, that is mastery. There were times when you doubted your worth because it was not immediately reflected back to you. Times when you measured yourself by outcomes, by approval, by how well you fit into spaces that were never designed for your depth. Those measures are falling away now. You are no longer meant to define yourself by external echoes. Your identity is returning inward. This awakening brings confidence, not as arrogance, but as alignment. You begin to feel steady in your choices. You speak more honestly, even when your voice trembles. You trust your timing, even when others rush. This is empowerment rooted in self-trust, not comparison. You are discovering that your sensitivity is a gift, not a liability. That your awareness allows you to see nuance where others see simplicity. That your compassion is not something to be hidden, but something that guides you toward meaningful connection. These qualities are part of your purpose, not obstacles to it. As you awaken to this you may notice old fears loosening their grip. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear of outgrowing familiar roles. Fear of standing apart rather than blending in. These fears fade because they no longer match the strength of who you are becoming. You are allowed to take up space now, not by force but by presence, by being fully yourself without apology, by honoring your values even when they differ from what is popular or expected. This is not rebellion, it is authenticity. You may feel a new sense of responsibility, not to others' expectations but to your own inner integrity. You begin to ask different questions. Not how do I fit, but what feels true. Not will this be accepted, but will this honor who I am. These questions shape a life that feels meaningful rather than merely busy. Your purpose is not something you must chase. It unfolds as you align with yourself. Every time you choose honesty over performance, presence over distraction, courage over comfort. You move closer to it. Purpose is revealed through becoming, not striving. There is resilience in you that cannot be shaken by uncertainty. You have learned how to stand when answers are incomplete. You have learned how to move forward even when the path is not fully visible. This resilience is part of your destiny. It prepares you to hold what is coming with grace. Feel this awakening gently. Let it settle into your body, your voice, your choices. You do not need to announce it. Others will sense it. The way you carry yourself will change. The way you respond will soften. The way you decide will clarify. Remember this, precious soul, you are not becoming powerful. You are remembering that you always were. This shift is simply clearing away what made you forget. Step forward with this knowing. Let your life reflect your truth more fully each day. You are awakening to yourself, and that recognition is the greatest empowerment of all. My dear one, as this message begins to settle within you, allow yourself to rest in its quiet truth. There is nothing you need to chase right now, nothing you need to prove. Simply being here, present and receptive, is already an act of trust. You have listened with your heart, and that is enough for this moment. What lies ahead does not require urgency. It asks for steadiness. It asks for a gentle commitment to yourself, to move forward with awareness, to honor what you feel, to trust the you unfolding even when it reveals itself slowly. You are not late, you are not early, you are exactly on time. Carry this knowing with you as you return to your day. Let it walk beside you in small decisions, in quiet pauses, in moments when doubt tries to return. When uncertainty appears, place a hand on your heart, and remember this feeling of calm recognition. That calm is your anchor. It will not leave you. You do not need to see the entire path to take the next step. The next step will always be enough. Each gentle movement forward creates clarity for the one that follows. Trust grows not from certainty, but from experience, from seeing that you can move, adjust, and continue with grace. There will be moments when the world feels loud again, when old patterns try to reclaim your attention. When that happens, return inward. Return to your breath. Return to the quiet assurance that guided you here. Stay with this message, not as words, but as a feeling you can revisit whenever you need. Grounding. Let faith feel soft rather than heavy. Faith is not pressure, it is openness. It is allowing life to meet you halfway. Courage does not always look like bold action. Sometimes it looks like patience, like choosing peace, like trusting yourself one more time. As you move forward, treat yourself with tenderness. You are learning, releasing, becoming. There is no rush. Growth unfolds best when it is nurtured, not forced. Speak kindly to yourself when you stumble. Celebrate the moments you listen inwardly, even if the steps feel small. Know this, precious soul, you are held, not confined, not controlled, but supported. The same gentle guidance that brought you to this moment will continue to walk with you. You do not have to call it in. It is already present. Make a quiet commitment now, not spoken aloud but felt. A commitment to honor your truth, to listen when your inner voice speaks, to choose alignment over habit. This commitment does not bind you, it frees you. Allow hope to settle where fear once lived. Allow trust to replace urgency. Allow yourself to believe that what is unfolding is not random but meaningful. Your life is responding to your readiness. Take one last breath here. Let it be slow. Let it be full. Carry this calm forward with you. You are safe to move ahead. You are supported in becoming. You are chosen not by circumstance but by your own willingness to listen. Go gently now, my beloved. The way forward is already opening, and you are walking it with grace.